What up, world? What's going on? Welcome back to another episode of Breaking Command. It's your man, Darian. Well, I used to call myself DH Williams, but I guess I'm just D Will now. But it's okay. Hey, man, life is about moderation and change, so it's all good. Back for another episode of the Breaking Command podcast. This is episode 3 of season 3, guys. Hey, man, appreciate y'all for locking in and tuning in. You know, got a rebound off that week 2 loss that we had against the Green Bay Packers. It's a tough one, but I'll tell you what, it made watching football this weekend a whole lot easier because I wasn't stressed out. I don't know about you, but I wasn't stressed out this past weekend. Was able to travel up to Jersey to support my cousin and the New York Jets. We'll get into that too. But what I wanted to do today, of course, on the Breaking Command podcast, every week that we're on, we like to have informative guests. We like to have guys and gals that know ball. And I said, who else better than to have is that my brothers from the All Burgundy and Gold Everything crew. Tonight we got George and Glenn, two of the 6-man tag team champions in the building. And fellas, welcome to the show, man. How y'all doing, man?
I'm doing great, man. I'm glad we got the invite. I'm glad to be here.
G, how you feel, man?
Oh, yes, we're going to be on with D-Will, and we're going to tell everybody what's happening with the Commanders. Oh, yes. My best pallbearer there for you.
That's very good, George. That's very good. Hey,
Thank
guys,
you very much.
Audience, welcome to All Burgundy Go Everything and the Breaking Command podcast where the mega powers collide. You know what I'm saying? Where, last season we had an amazing run, a lot of post-game shows, a lot of pre-game shows. We're going to get back to that this year as well. So I said, let's get that train moving today and let's get the guys in the building so we can just talk about it. So let's just get right into it. Ain't going to pull no punches. You saw all the reports. We saw the game last Thursday. We lost to a better Packers team that added Micah Parsons a week before the season started. Jordan Love played solid football. They ran the football very well. We just looked underwhelming in week 2. Let me start with you, Glenn. Just overall, man, the week 2 performance from our Washington Commanders, man. What was the feeling after watching that game, man, on how we performed?
I had to take a point from George. A lot of these guys didn't play in the preseason, didn't play much. And we saw for the last 2 weeks, they've been lackadaisical, right? We saw it in the New York Giant game, right? The Giants are just that bad that he couldn't capitalize on it. We saw they sputtered out. And then what you saw in the Green Bay game was a team that was coming off they was tired. And they got exploited by the Green Bay scheme. On the secondary looked bad. Lattimore looked like he shouldn't be in a Washington. Shouldn't be in a football uniform because he's doing what he did last year, and we blamed it on him being hurt. So what's the excuse now?
See, yeah, we gonna put a pin in that too because I want to get back to that too, Glenn. I'm glad you said that. George, what was your thoughts on Thursday's game, man?
I was frustrated just because I really expected a better effort, but in the back of my mind, because I was back and forth about which team I was going to pick all week. And in the back of my mind, it was like we weren't really good the first 2 games last year either. And when and now in hindsight, you're like, my God, this is a dead ringer for the first 2 weeks last year, except it's flipped.
Yeah.
Last year we played the Giants second, and that wasn't a particularly good performance, but they won. And we played Tampa first, and no matter what people try to rewrite history on that, Tampa Bay had us well accounted for, and that score probably wasn't as close as it was indicated, just like against Green Bay. So then my frustration sort of became anger because it's like, why did we do the same things and not be ready? Plus the fact it's never good when a player's in your team or your coach's head. And Micah Parsons is in the heads of Jayden Daniels and that coaching staff, which tells you something. Micah Parsons, not only going to be Defensive Player of the Year, he might be the damn MVP this year. He might be the best player in football. Because I'm telling you right now, with that talent around him at Green Bay, they're going to be setting fire to a lot of offenses this year, and they're going to be a dominant football team. And people are going to look at that week 2 and go, maybe we should have – and week 1, they really should say it about Detroit and go, man, maybe we missed the boat. And this Packers defense is just that good. Micah Parsons, to me, he's number one player in the NFL right now.
Man, I mean, that's an amazing point that you mentioned. I think, man, Michael Parsons might be in the heads of a lot of people. I mean, it was a head scratcher indeed, that move with him going to Green Bay Packers in the first place. But now you kind of look at how they've been analyzing the Packers, is that they quickly shot up everybody's radar as one of the top teams that can now overtake the Eagles. And just like you said, we started sluggish last year. And coming out of this game now with the news breaking today with Dan Quinn, we got it's crazy too with this. We got notification yesterday that there was going to be a press conference today, and everybody kind of knew what it was gonna be. Was going to say something about Jayden's injury, and I believe it's a sprain, if I'm not mistaken, a knee sprain.
Yeah, which that surprises me because he finished the game and didn't look. I mean, he was limping, but it wasn't serious.
Exactly.
Well, I got other thought. He shouldn't have been in that game at that point, but that's a whole different conversation.
Man, you know what? But you know what, and Glenn, I like that, but I still like, even watching that game, right? That game at times felt like it was 40-0. It felt like it felt like every lead they had was just insurmountable. But when you looked at it, the game was still close. Had we made 2 of those field goals, it would have been a 1-score. It would have been a 3-point game. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like we would have been right there. So it's like the game, while it felt the lead felt ridiculously large, it still was a close game. So I mean, at that point, I could see him not being in the game, but they're gonna fight to the end. He's gonna fight to the end.
He's gonna fight. Yeah. He's gonna fight to. He's competitive.
The Packers played with their food big time against us. We got to say that the Packers really played with their food. Although when it got to 17-10, they got serious and went bam, bam, bam right down the field.
Yeah, but the reports has it that it's day to day. Yeah, and we're gonna see day to day how he feels. And then you just mentioned it, D. Will. Jayden's a competitor. So if there's a will, he will be out there on Sunday if it's up to him.
Now, after watching the press conference today, and Dan Quinn just ripped the Band-Aid off and said, "Hey, this is what we got to talk about. Jayden is day to day." The questions instantly came up, even in the press room, that are you thinking about down the road, with this decision that you're going to make this week? And Glenn, I'll start with you, man. When, as a coach making this decision, are you willing to risk any further injury right now in a week 3 matchup against the Raiders, who will get ready to come on in a couple minutes on Monday Night Football? What are your thoughts going into whether you're going to sit or start Jayden Daniels this week?
Well, you got to look at what the medical staff says, right? Yeah. What the medical staff tell you. Is it a sprain? Can you put a brace on it? Can he still play with a brace? Is he still mobile, right? You don't want him to be he's your future. He's your quarterback. He's your QB1. You don't want him to be a sitting duck, right? We know that Jayden's best asset is his legs, right? So if he can move and he's not a sitting duck, I play him. If he can't maneuver like he need to do, DeMarcus Mariota need to get ready. And Josh Johnson's your backup quarterback, right?
Yeah.
And so those are things that I'm looking at. It's Tuesday. You had 10 days off. Knee must be still sore. You'll have 10 days off by the time the game comes on Sunday. So, I'm waiting till the last possible minute to make that decision. I'm waiting till Friday. I might even wait till Saturday to make that decision to see how he reacts, how he responds with the trading staff. Because I'm not saying this is a must win, but it's a win. And they need a win, right?
Yeah.
They need a win going into what they're getting ready to go into. So, and who gives you the best chance? I have faith in Marcus Mariota. Trust me. But again, it goes back to what I said at the start of this broadcast. How many passes did Marcus Mariota throw during preseason?
Yeah, that's the thing, man. That you make it, because now it's like you put him in. It's like everybody's starting behind the 8 ball when you don't get no reps in preseason, and they can say whatever they want to say about preseason. Those reps are key to get some feeling under you as far as to how you can play for the season. Like, even if it's just 2 series, man, you know what I mean? Like, I just feel like the value of preseason has shrunk so low, and then you get in this position where the first 4 weeks of your season, you're treating that like the preseason, and the season could easily get away from you in these first 4 weeks of the season if you don't take advantage of it. G, what you think, man?
I go a little further than Glenn than this because he's right about maneuverability, but I would say this. I want a Jayden Daniels that is still a damaging runner because that is the guy that's very hard to defend. If he can't be a damaging runner, then I'm not sure I want him out there until he is. And I know it's hard to test something like that because you don't know when the situation's going to come up and all those sorts of things. And who knows? If they do a good job on Max Crosby, maybe he ain't going to have to run that much on Sunday.
Yeah.
But I feel like if you think he's going to be where he can't run and be damaging and effective, then put Mariota out there because, granted, I don't like no reps for Mariota in the preseason, but Mariota's a vet. You can get away with that if you've been in the league a long time. Hell, a lot more than when you were a first or second year player. So, and here's the other thing. It's funny because a year ago we all would have been revolted at the thought that Marcus Mariota would come in.
Right.
And then he's done such a hell of a job last year that I think we were confident. And for me, I'm like Glenn. I am confident in Marcus Mariota, especially against the Raiders, who probably tougher than we all think. But the Raiders ain't the Lions. They ain't the Packers. They ain't that level. So I think right now, today, I would say play Mariota. But I think Glenn's right. I think that it's going to be – I think they're going to go as long as possible, wait long as possible. And look, he's got the extra time. So he might be fine by Sunday.
Yeah.
It's not ridiculous that he can be close to 100% by the time we get to kickoff.
Hey, and George, you know what? I really like and I really subscribe to that message. And just like everybody watching here, you make sure that Breaking Command and D-Will does it all. You make sure that you like and subscribe that, and then All Burgundy and Go Everything and Urban Sports Scene. Make sure y'all like and subscribe that. So just check this out.
Like and subscribe, please.
That's it. That's all you need to do. I appreciate that. Well, yeah, I got to make sure we put that in. Make sure since you're here, just go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, share with your friends, man, and do that. But, you know, the question came up, and it really had me sitting back and thinking, right? I was like, all right, if he's not 95%, sit him. It's not worth it. We saw this in the RG3 era where we allowed him to go against his best interest and go ahead and play. And say whatever you want to say about Robert Griffin III right now, okay? But minus an additional injury in that 2012 season, he could have a totally different career, totally different trajectory.
I would still be playing.
Exactly. I would hate to get in a situation where Jayden is not 100% or not 95%, and something could tweak it. And like you said, man, you have a guy like Max Crosby and other than that will attack. And all it takes, man, is this. And you saw how, man, look, man, say what we want to say. The offensive line was not at its best this past Thursday, right? So you in a situation where you got a top tier pass rusher and, you know, you're not blocking well. You don't want to get the young guy hurt, man. I definitely agree with y'all in this point, man. Like, if he's not a full go and if he can't be himself, because he's our best weapon on offense, if he cannot do everything that he needs to do, I mean, he literally that'll take away the dynamic that he has that actually, you know, keeps defensive honest. So nah, man, I don't think you risk it, man. If there's any question, and I think just by watching the show, watching the press conference, I think Dan Quinn kind of alluded to that. He was like, look, you know, they got to make the check marks. They got to get through all the protocol and stuff. He's like, but if it's not, I don't think he has a problem with sitting them. Go ahead, George.
You spurred another thought in me, though, because you talked about the blocking. Is there a thought from this coaching staff that if we don't have John Bates, and he said John Bates was a long shot today, and really, you know, everybody's dumping on Connerly, but that's when things started to go bad for Connerly, is when he didn't have Bates next to him to help.
Yeah.
Which, again, you need young right tackles need guys like John Bates to help them. Because you saw it later in the game when poor McNichols tried to chip Micah Parsons, and Micah Parsons ran through him like he wasn't there. So I wonder if that's a consideration. If they're sitting there going, if we don't have John Bates to help Josh Connerly, maybe we shouldn't play Jayden. I think that's got to be something they think about here, because that's when that offensive line really started suffering, is when he went down injured in the second quarter.
Just like y'all mentioned, though, go ahead, Glenn. Go ahead, please.
No, you also got to mention too, you don't have Austin Eckler. You don't have a guy, a veteran guy, third down back. Bill is still getting his feet underneath him. And then if you bring Chris Rodriguez up, right, and allow him to run and McNichols, then you have a young team that's playing this game against the Las Vegas Raiders, right? You have two young running backs. Of course, Rodriguez has been in the league for about 3 or 4 years now, but he's been on the practice squad. He bounced to the main roster practice squad. So you're looking at that piece too. And when you talk about Jayden Daniels, and you compare us to RG3, different regime, different ownership. I think Adam Peters and Dan Quinn are going to make the right decision. But I think Washington has to realize too, the season is much bigger than just this one game. And you got to look at it in that grand scheme. This season is much bigger than that one game. And you don't want him to, I'd rather him miss a game than miss a season. Look what Cincinnati's getting ready to go through with Joe Barrow's getting ready to be gone, right? They said 3 months, but can we be honest?
That's
3 months puts 3 months puts him in November, and if the Bengals don't have a winning record by the time Joe Barrow can come back, they're gonna shut him down for the rest of the year. Let's be honest. So we this organization can't be in that situation with all the hype, with all the enthusiasm, with everything coming up. You don't want to lose a Jayden Daniels, because look at all the primetime games that you have, right? You want Jayden to be in the primetime games. Nothing against Marcus Mariota, but he doesn't sell. He don't put, as they say in the wrestling business, he don't put butts in seats or sell tickets.
Right. You know what? And to that point, like, I feel like because we've seen Marcus Mariota play last year and play well, I'm confident with saying, hey, Jayden, sit down. Like, let's not try to rush back. Like, I really want you for the latter part of the season versus trying to do too much right now. If he can go, cool, he can go. But I feel like they feel confident enough in Marcus Mariota to decide that, hey, Marcus can take us through for another week to allow him more time to rest. And he's got that veteran presence, that backup quarterback veteran presence. They know him. They know how he likes to play. And I don't think you lose too much with him in there. We saw a lot of times last year where they still had the read option look. He still was able to move around into the pocket. He still was able to scramble to extend some plays. So it's not like you go from, Sonic the Hedgehog to the Statue of Liberty. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's you still have some playmaking ability with Marcus Mariota in there. Maybe not to the level of Jayden Daniels, but you still have something in there. And I think right now he's a good stabilizer. Like last year, he was able to stabilize the ship and kind of keep everything moving in the motion, where you give Jayden enough time to get back and allow him to prepare for that week 4 matchup with is it with the Chargers? Do they play the Chargers next after that? Or am I?
That's a good question. I'm gonna look that up real quick.
I believe it's Atlanta, if I'm not mistaken.
It's Atlanta, then the Chargers, I believe.
Yeah.
So you don't want to force him back, man. Don't want to rush the guy, this early in his career. But I feel like if he's 80%, he's gonna try to go. They're gonna have to stop him from playing football, and that's the only thing you get with a fierce competitor such as Jayden. And now, Glenn, you mentioned earlier with the additional injuries that we took on Thursday against the Packers, some devastating injuries, man. 2 season-ending injuries, one with Austin Eckler and the other one with Dietrich Wise. I believe his was a quad or hip, if I'm not mistaken.
It's a quad. Yeah, quad.
And if there's one thing I know is about tearing quads, whether it's Triple H or Vince McMahon tearing both of them, getting into the ring, like, it's crazy. But I think the big loss is Austin Eckler, man. This looks like at this age, with how many years he's got in the league, it looked like this could have been the final goal for him with tearing an Achilles, man. Glenn, talk about what Austin Eckler, what we'll miss with Austin Eckler being out, and how they will have to lean on the running backs going forward.
One should miss a leadership presence in their locker room, right? A guy who can train young guys, who can teach young guys to do the essentials. Even in the first 2 games this year, not to go back to last year, you saw how explosive he could be when he get the ball in his hands, right? Yeah. How he can create things. So he had that speed, he had the leadership, and the veteran presence. You don't have that room. You have Anthony Lynn, but I mentioned you have young guys, right? You got Bill, you have Rodriguez, you got McNichols. Everybody's not, and everybody's not high on McNichols. So you got the two young guys, and you got Donovan Edwards now. Donovan Edwards that they want to break up as well. So you missed that. You missed. Hopefully Eckler will be around, but again, when you look at Eckler, you don't want a guy like that his season to end, right? He did the intangible things. He was one of Jayden Daniels' safety blankets, right? You could always get the ball to Austin. He knew where he needed to be. He would get those extra yards. He knew where the sticks were at. Basically the NFL football IQ is what you're really going to miss when Austin Eckler is not on the field, is not there.
You and to that point is him being the safety net, almost like Zach Ertz is. You see how Zach Ertz have benefited greatly already this season, with 2 touchdowns this year already, moving up the all-time list, for pass catching tight ends. You've seen that safety blanket of Zach Ertz, right? So losing Austin Eckler now, like you said, that veteran presence and that safety blanket, somebody else has to step up, and they have to be able to develop. And I think what you'll really see now is early how good can the Peters, Adam Peters, find that talent. They were able to find guys last year. They were able to pluck and pull guys in. They're going to have to do it now. When you have big injuries like this, guys go out, you're going to have to find the next man up. And I think he's even received some criticism because of Mitchell Tinsley, who's playing well, over with Cincinnati. So hey, he gotta step it up now too. Gee, what about the loss of the 2 losses that we took on this past Thursday, man? What are your thoughts?
Well, we certainly couldn't lose Wise. That's a tough one because we need all hands on deck on defense.
Yeah.
The Eckler thing was frustrating because some of it's got to be attributed to overuse, and I couldn't understand in week 1 or week 2. It was Eckler early and inside, and I'm going, Eckler is an outside zone, third down back throwing the ball kind of guy. Why are you running him like he's a bell cow running back? Maybe he would have got hurt anyway, but I felt like that contributed, and I was really displeased with the way he was used there. So let me start with that. And then I will admit, when it comes to the running back room, I've had 2 agendas. One of them was Bill, because I may not have been the first guy on the Bill bandwagon, but I was a pretty early buyer of a ticket on that sucker. And so I want Bill to be featured. But I and Wole has too. We've had a Chris Rodriguez agenda because every time that guy's come in, he has played his tail off for Washington.
He's a baller,
man.
He's
done whatever's been asked of him, blitz pickup, grinding out yards at the end of games, and then he doesn't play. And it was that infuriated me last year. And I got to tell you, I thought he was the best running back in camp. So to see him inactive for the first 2 games, I'm sorry, that baloney. I didn't understand it. I was like, well, but we need these receivers and this and that. And it's like, I just didn't like it. And so what I hope is that before we go, maybe Donovan Edwards is going to help. Maybe there's a guy out there that they want to get off somebody's practice squad or trade for or whatever. But my hope is that before they do that, give Bill and Chris Rodriguez and even McNichols, who I'm not a big fan of, let's see what the 3 of them can do together, because I actually think they're 3 pretty good running backs. I think they've all had flashes of something. McNichols was good in week 1, as well as Bill, and I want to see all of them. As for I feel bad for Eckler, but to me, he's got a lucrative career as a media personality coming. He's going to be big in fantasy football media. He's going to own that. So It sucks for him, and I know it's terrible, but he's had a great career, and I want to tip my cap to him. But I want to see what these young running backs can do. It's time for them.
I really like that point that you made, right? They should really make a conscious effort to force feed these young guys. I mean, Chris Rodriguez showed in spots last year that he can be the bell cow in certain situations. A lot of those second half games where you needed to kind of hammer it down, he was the guy that was picking up those yards, those 5, 6, 7-yard runs, slowing the game down, tiring out the defense. He can do that, right? So I'm hoping that they really do press the issue and give him more opportunities along with Bill this week to get that done. And shout out to Ron at Indian Lake, man, for tuning in. Hey, he said, do y'all think Debo will run the ball more considering Eck being injured? And I agree 100%. You look at Debo, and one could argue that Terry has been on the back of a milk carton for 2 weeks. And that's because Debo has been getting touches. I mean, it feels like when we talk about making a conscious effort, it feels like they've been making a conscious effort to get the ball to Debo Samuel. Like, I mean, in every way possible, in the rounds, jet sweeps, screen game, drag routes, deep ins and outs. Like, they've really been trying to get him the ball. So I do think he may supplement with some of those situations. And I think you may see him line up in the backfield more in those third down situations, right? So, hopefully, whatever. And I think at this time, it's all hands on deck. When you got injuries like that, you got to get everybody that can step up and play well. And then also Noah Brown is still day to day. Like, it's just like, I mean, I will say this though. I think with Marcus Mariota in the game, you may be in more passing situations. I really think this might be a game if Marcus Mariota starts where Terry could go off. Like, this might be the game where Terry goes off and becomes the number one target as he should be going forward. I mean, you see it around the league. They talk about this with AJ Brown too. Like, AJ Brown don't get no touches, and it's like, how long is he gonna be able to hang on and not lose his mind without getting touches? Granted, the team is winning; they just won a Super Bowl, but like, how long? Now, I don't see Terry as that type of guy, but I really think you got to force feed Terry right now.
Well, I think he did.
What's AJ Brown's next book on the sideline?
I think he did towards the end of the game with giving the ball to Terry. But we also too, I call it the Antonio Brown effect, or sometimes people eat like Juju Schuster ate because Antonio Brown was on the other side. And I think that's what's going on with Debo. I think Debo is getting a lot of balls because Terry is getting doubled and Debo's open. Now, of course, have they schemed some things for Debo? Yes. Has Debo been explosive when he got the ball in space? That's what you want, right? We talk about Washington didn't really have a clear-cut number 2 last year. They have a clear-cut number 2.
Yeah, they do. Yep.
And his name is Debo Samuels because we know Terry's the number 1. And somebody going to argue, well, Debo's number 1, Terry's number 2. Now, let's not do that, right? That's foolishness. That's foolishness right now. All right. But Debo's eating because Terry's covered. Now, he's trying to get Terry the ball. Some things have been low, and you can tell they've been off a little bit. But again, it goes back to my point I mentioned. Some things are missed in training camp. Yeah. It's the timing that's missed. There's some things that you have to do. I know y'all work extra after practice, but some things are happening when the bullets are flying, right? When the bullets are flying, keeping that stuff down. And so we'll see Terry. This is a good week for Terry. But again, with Jayden out, is almost all hands on deck, right? If Jayden is out, right? If Jayden is out, then it's all hands on deck.
No, I agree. And as we transition into this week's matchup against Oakland, against the Las Vegas Raiders, hey, everybody that's watching right now, make sure you like and subscribe to all the pages, man. Like and subscribe to All Burgundy Go Everything. Make sure you like and subscribe to D-Will Does It All. Full slate of content for you guys all week that you'll be able to check out. Wednesday, you can check out the line change with Mike Callow, where I'll be live in studio talking about the Commanders each and every week throughout the season. So you can check that out on the Sports Capital. And then, of course, on All Burgundy Go Everything in the urban sports scene. I mean, a full slate of content on a weekly basis with Ravens and Commanders and boxing and everything that's going on, man. Everything that's going on. So, of course, we love that. So make sure y'all sub up with everything. Guys, the Commanders open at 3-point favorites over the Raiders. I think that line can possibly change if Jayden is out. But initially, give me your thoughts on this week, man. What do you like? What do you think might happen? I mean, what do you think is going to take for us to overcome and get back in the driver's seat of our season? Because just like you guys, I know y'all had some pretty big expectations for us this year. And seeing how the rest of the division played, we're gonna have to get it rolling, man. Glenn, what you think?
I think you do you. Sometimes some weeks you have to focus on you, right? Dan Quinn said that he took the responsibility all on him. So they have to get back to what they do best, whether that's running a football, whether that's short ball, throwing screens, getting the ball to people in space. They have to get back to where they're at. Also, it's a 3-point line now. Brock Bowers may not play this weekend. That's to be a plus too, right?
Yeah.
They're holding him out tonight. So
no, they're not holding him out. He's playing tonight.
Oh, he's playing tonight?
Just announced that he is playing tonight.
Oh,
he's going. I know that because
okay.
I got him in fantasy in quite a few.
Okay,
leagues.
so he's playing. He's playing now. At one point, he was ruled. He was a game time decision. You know.
Yep.
So, but again, Washington has not to worry about them and worry about them, and also take advantage of the fact that the Raiders are coming East Coast. You know that makes a difference. You take advantage of the fact they're coming to the East Coast to play in the early game and to keep it going, right? So that's one of the things.
No, go ahead, Glenn. I'm sorry.
No, that's one of the things Washington got to focus. Focus on you, and focus on you, not anything else. You learn from what happened last week. Sorry, Raiders don't have a they have Cosby, but Cosby's not Michael Parsons. And they don't move him around. So
yeah, George, before you go, I just want to mention, man, like you talked about just doing you, right? And I think this is a true test of just doing you. And if you really like, I know after last year, right, we all looked at the upcoming season and said, wow, this whole thing could be a really big deal. We could go the distance. We could win, 11, 12, 13, 14 games. Like we could do it. But I think we have to shrink it down. And really, I think Dan Quinn is got to do a good job of making it a 1 week season, just like he did last year. Just really chopping it down to, hey, we just got to worry about week 3 against the Raiders at home. That's all we need to do. That's all we need to focus on. And if we can do that enough times, we can have the season that we had last year. But I think fans, we got so amped up after last year's performance. We just seeing everything as a full big picture. And really got to shrink it down to just 1 week at a time. You know what I mean? George, would you agree with that?
I would agree with that. But honestly, one of the things that needs to be worked on, this coaching staff needs to recover its spine. Because as bad as the player performances were, and they were terrible, the players play and the coaches coach. So what on the field, a lot of it falls on them. The coaches were way worse than the players on Thursday night. I was kind of disgusted.
Do you think they weren't prepared, or do you think did they overlook? Like, what do you think happened?
No, I think they were scared of Micah Parsons. I think, as I said at the very start here, Micah Parsons wasn't just in Jayden Daniels' head. He was in the coach's head. They were scared of him. And the way they coached that game, not going forward on the way they botched the end of that first half, that clock management, not using timeouts, and then, we're going to try a 58-yard field goal with a kicker who sucks, who stinks. Everybody's making it. I'm sorry. I was crashing out on Sunday watching all these people make big field goals. And the worst was the Cowboys one because they didn't even try to make that a short field goal. They're like, we'll just run the ball, get 2 or 3 extra yards, and we'll just have the guy kick a 64-yard field goal because, that's no problem. And the second he kicked it, I knew it was through. Like the second it left his foot, and this bum that we got now, it's a miracle if he makes a 50-yarder. And it's like 4th and 4 last year with Jayden Daniels, you're going.
That was a gimme. Going. It wasn't even a question. Like, it wasn't even a question. It was like,
at that point, I should have known the game was over because at that point, you might as well just hand your cojones right over to them and say, here, these are yours. I don't need these. That coaching performance, like Joe Witt too, not trying to blitz until the end of the game, not trying to make Jordan Love do the thing that he loves to do, which is put the ball in danger. Didn't see it, but maybe once the whole game, and he's known for the YOLO ball. So what I want more than anything is for this coaching staff to coach like they did last year, which is to be aggressive, both sides of the football. And yes, I know we got injuries. We got it. We struggled. We didn't do enough in the preseason. I know all that. We've covered all that ground. But get back to being aggressive as coaches. Not crazy. Like, don't do what that idiot Vikings did the other night and try to go for it on 4th at your own 36 and the Hufflepuff quarterback fumbles the ball with nobody touching him or any of that stuff. Be sensible, but be aggressive. Be aggressive like you were last year because you had confidence in a rookie quarterback because that's how good he was. And he still is, even if he is hurt a little bit.
But, it made me think that Jayden might have been hurt before the play that we think he was hurt. Think about it again. There was some opportunity that he could have ran. He didn't run.
Yeah.
And
it's a
then he
good
threw
point.
the ball.
I hope it's not true, but
We'll never know.
how can you not conclude that?
I think so. Here's my thing, and this is a mantra for me for life. If I'm gonna miss anyway, I might as well go for it. Like if I'm gonna lose the game, why not go down swinging? You know what I mean? Like I mean, we lost anyway. So why not take more opportunities, take more shots, take more chances? It really shows that you're trying to win the ball game. I go back to your point, George, the clock management issue. I was like, man, what's happening here? Like you really would have thought that we carried those timeouts. Oh, like we would have 6 in the second half. Like that's kind of how it was thinking. It's like, why do you do that? Like that's not that you're not thinking. And it's like, and I never felt like, the game got away from and think about it like this. And I hate to use this as an example, but it's the truth. That's the only thing we have to go off. Last year, it just felt like in every situation, they were prepared. They knew they made the right decision. They just knew what to do. Those situational practices came in handy. They just always were prepared and knew what to do. They weren't hesitating when it was time to go for it. It wasn't any decision. It was just like, it is what it is. Thursday, it felt like they just was like, okay, what do we do next? Like sometimes you just gotta get out your own way. Like just make the decision and live with it, right? And that's the thing. I hate second guess. Just make the decision, live with it. But you look at the history that we've had. We haven't had a good kicker since Chip Low-Miller. Like we haven't had a good kicker since Mark Mosley. Like come on. We've had that's been a problem. And it's just like, bruh, you can't live of making 50 plus field goals if you don't have that type of guy. If you don't have Aubrey from the Cowboys, if you don't have, Vinatieri, you back in the day, you can't live off trying to make those kicks, especially when you have one of the most dynamic players in the game in a 4th and 4 situation where essentially he can scramble and get that. So it's just like, I felt like they just I feel like they overthought the game and they weren't loose. They weren't themselves. They weren't confident like they normally are. And I don't know if the Packers took their heart, or I don't know if they were second guessing. Jayden could have been hurt sooner. I don't know if they didn't feel confident with what they had and what was happening with the game. But it's just like, like I was at the Jets game yesterday, and Aaron Glenn caught some criticism for kicking that field goal to go in halftime, 23-3. And they was like, they booed them into the tunnel. And as a coach, I see it, right? They made it, right? They made it. Okay, cool. You want to get some points on the board for going to halftime. But it's just like, we already getting smoked by 3 scores. What is 3 points going to do? And it proved that it did nothing because they lost 30-10. A late Tyrod Taylor touchdown at the end of the game, it proved nothing. So it's like, I think with fans and what people want to see, they want to see you keep shooting, keep taking opportunities. But of course, that's why fans are coaches. What you about to say, Glenn?
It's sometimes just a psychological thing, As a coach, you want to get your players psychologically. You want to get on the board, right? We can score against this team, and so psychologically, hey, we did what we were supposed to do. Aaron Glenn say, oh, let's get some points. Good. We need some points. All right. We got some points. Let's come out in the second half, be more energetic. We can march the ball down the field. Goes back to the Washington Commanders. If you get the 3 points, that the kicker missed, right, you go into halftime and it's a different ball game, right?
Yeah.
So you're going to halftime, then you get the ball back. So now you get the ball back with a potential opportunity to either score 3 or get another 7.
Yeah.
And the confidence boost is there. Granted, the Green Bay Packers missed their kick, right?
Yeah.
McManus missed his kick. But all I could think during the game was like, man, McManus was a commander last year.
For like 20 minutes.
For like a hot second.
and I get it, but I think I said it on our podcast. I hate, and this is the views of Glenn, not the views of Breaking Command or any other platform or All Burgundy and Gold. This is the views of Glenn.
You got to specify that nowadays because they go pull them clips.
True.
Pull the clips, right? Pull the clips. So my thing is, until somebody's proven guilty, don't judge me off my past. All right, until I'm proven guilty, don't punish me. And the Washington Commanders punished this guy before they knew if he was guilty or not. And you could have a surefire kicker who's kicking 50 plus field goals like nothing because he kicked him against you on Thursday night.
that you were all in on before he got those charges. So why not go back all in on him when it's, you know what I'm saying? Like,
should have been all in on this guy.
That's one of those things where I was like, that was one of the first signings that they did when Adam Peters got here.
Yes,
I remember the whole thing. Brian Cobra Jr. had him on the Next Man Up show on the Commanders YouTube. They were talking to him and everything, and then a week later, that show was pulled off because he got the charges. Then after he was cleared, he was re-signed again. So it's like all is well and good. And then you look at last year that, you know, besides everything else, the kicking game was still an issue. We had multiple. We had 4 kickers last year. 3-4 kickers. It's like on a week.
And Sherman got hurt.
Season was like 5 or 6.
Yeah.
And Sherman got hurt, but he was doing a good job prior to his injury.
Yeah.
And then you had Nick Gonzalez.
That's honestly been our best kicker was that 7 weeks of Seibert when he couldn't miss.
Yeah, Seibert.
By the way, the Bucks just won with a touchdown run with 6 seconds left. They had no timeouts, ran it, and got it in there.
Wow.
Todd Bowles, former Redskin Todd Bowles, doing
Bucky
the
Irving,
job.
did he score a touchdown?
It was Rashad White. They had not Bucky Irving. And then Rashad White ran through 2 guys and stuck that sucker in the end zone. Yes, you can. It's a big risk, but you can run the ball near the goal line at the end of the game and get in there. Learn that, kids.
What my man Chet Stedman said. He said, you can't use your want to. You got to use your have to. he was like,
you know what? Hey, I want to build on Glenn's point only to say this. You're right about McManus, but you know, with the new regime, I understood why they let him go.
For sure.
The point is, you had opportunities to fix this all the way down the line. You didn't take those. You decided that Matt Gay, with the biggest guarantee in history given to a kicker, which is bizarre, and you didn't. And it would be one thing if he was making all his kicks in preseason, we had nothing to worry about, and all of a sudden he's missing them. He's been missing the whole preseason. I don't care what you paid him. Bring somebody else in. Look at the Falcons. Young Wei Koo missing all them kicks against the Bucks. Said enough of this. And they bring in John Parker Romo, who I think was at Tennessee in college. I swear that's where I know him from. It might have been somebody else, but I know him because I think he kicked in the SEC. And he banged 5 of them through last night for him as they dominated the Vikings. And it's like, what the hell, Adam? And these people can find these kickers just anywhere, and we got this guy. And look, unless he's got the yips, and maybe he does, I'd rather have Young Wei Koo than Matt Gay right now.
Yeah, in George, you mentioned it. Kicking has been a problem across the league, and I think those leashes are getting shorter and shorter on kickers. Like
if the Bucks had lost, their kicker .1 in this game.
Points are now, and like I think it's just a trend of how these games have gone, man. These points are at a premium, like those 3-point situations, like, you know, and also too, I think it's a recency bias, right? Like you see Aubrey make a 64-yard field goal, and you like, man, why can't my guy make any of these kicks, man? My guy missing from 40. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you're putting more pressure on these guys. So it's like you gotta get that thing squared up, because in those crucial situations where you need one, you gotta have it. And we can't live in those situations where we can't count on that guy, because the days, and it's just like I said, throughout the league, the days of the automatic field goal are over. Like the days where this stuff is simple, it's done. I don't know what happened. I don't know if the kicking overall has gone down as a whole, but it's just like it's not as automatic and as it used. And I think also too, they're probably just attempting longer kicks. They're willing to go for the longer kicks. But it's just
also the bars are a little bit smaller. The dimensions are a little bit smaller on the goalposts. You get a lot of joints this year too, I think.
Yes.
And then, you know, some guys are kicking indoors, some guys are kicking outdoors.
That's a big thing too, man. Those controlled environments. I can't wait till we get a dome stadium, because let me tell you what, playing in a controlled situation without the elements, like you don't like it, G. I just feel like
I hate the dome stadium idea, because you don't see no dome stadium teams getting dynasties and winning championships all the time, do you? Here, there, and everywhere. That's when they win them.
Look, it's perfect time to start one. But I feel like just in like baseball, where you could build your park and have an amazing advantage, you know, based upon what type of pitchers you have, based upon what type of hitters you have. Like you can build your baseball park As long as you meet the minimum requirements, you can have a short field and right. You know what I mean? You can have a crazy wall and left. Like this is what you can do. And I think that's the only way some of these teams really have some of these advantages, because think about it. In the wintertime, kicking in cold environments, those kicks are hard. You know what I mean? Wouldn't you love to play if you were playing, being the 72 degrees and comfortable, in December, indoors, being able to have a controlled environment? And I think, and this goes to your point, George, like the Bills building a new stadium, and people were shunning them, but it's like, I think with the Bills, that's one of their biggest factors, bro. Nobody wants to go to Buffalo in the end of the season,
but they're still outdoors. They don't have a dome.
Outdoors, exactly.
And so,
but they still
again, do you want a home field advantage in the playoffs, or don't you? Because I'm sorry, if you're in a dome, your home field advantage is muted. Because if that weren't so, there'd be way more dome teams going to the Super Bowl than not.
So you said with a dome, it's a neutral
Detroit's
site.
Dome last year.
Yeah.
What kind of advantage was Detroit's dome? We went in there and stomped a mud hole in their ass and walked it dry.
We did, and that's a whole nother topic.
That's turnovers, man. When we turn the ball over, that's something different. But good to your point. Nobody wants to play in Chicago, and nobody wants to play in Buffalo in November or December.
Listen, they will play there if they think they're going to win a championship, and they don't care about the dadgum weather.
Yeah,
believe me.
New England had an advantage too. Think about when people went to New England and it was in the snow and tuck rule and all this other stuff. So
hey, listen, you don't have to worry about anybody playing in Chicago in January, so don't worry about that. Hey, that's a fair point. Yes. Before we get ready to get out here, I want you to answer this for me with Coach Lombard. Shout out to him for tuning in. Is Week 3 a must-win game for you guys? And George, I'm gonna start with you, man.
If the goals that we had at the start of the season are still our goals, and I think they are, 100% yes. You can't lose a game to a team like the Raiders and expect to beat Philadelphia in this division. You just can't. Packers is one thing. Packers, to me, they're the best team in football right now today. Number one, because you look at who they've played and look at who they've beaten two teams soundly. Both of them were in the playoffs last year. One of them was the number 1 seed, and the other one was in the NFC Championship game. There ain't a team playing better than them right now at 2-0. So I don't know about them, but it's like, if you're going to try to beat Philadelphia, you can about alibi the loss to Green Bay. Can't be losing to the Raiders. Got to beat the Raiders.
Got you, Glenn. What you think?
Yeah, it's a must win. You want to keep pace with the Philadelphia Eagles, right? You want to keep pace with the Dallas Cowboys, who are 1-1. You're 1-1. Philadelphia is 2-0. Philadelphia has to play the Los Angeles Rams, right? so it potentially at the end of Sunday, you could have teams who are 2-1 sitting on top of the NFC East. So you don't want to be that team that's 1-2, right? We got the Giants who play Kansas City, so they'll probably be 0-3. You want to keep pace with the the Philadelphia Eagles and the Dallas Cowboys right now. You want to win football games.
For sure. I agree. And to your point, man, I definitely think it's a must win, and not because of anything else, but I just think it's a must win for confidence to keep everybody locked in and engaged, to really continue on with the mission, which is, advancing as far as you can and trying to get to the last game of the year. So I think this is one of those games that you got to win. I feel like, every week is a must win, but I think this is the one where you kind of like, hey, all right, first 2 weeks was rocky. We started slow like we did last year. What did they do week 3 last year? They had a coming out party against the Bengals, right?
Yes, it is.
So do it again this Sunday, and this is where you can really show the league that we're still here, we're still those guys, we can still do it and still get the job done. So yes, I definitely like that, and I think they will come out and get it done this week, regardless of who's at quarterback. I got strong faith that they're going to get it back together, especially with this long break that they have. I think they kind of see some of the same things we talked about, that maybe they were indecisive or a little bit sluggish or whatever on a short week at that. Now they've had plenty of rest. They've had time to install new things, take out some old stuff, and really get it going. So I think they'll be fine. And I think before we get out of here, guys, tell everybody where they can find all your programs and what y'all got going on this week as far as some shows. Glenn, you can give us the rundown.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, you can find us at All Burgundy and Gold, everything. That's ABG_everything. That's everything with 3 R's. You can check us out Thursday night at 9:30 on our YouTube channel, on the Urban Sports Scene channel as well. Also on Instagram at ABG_everything. Once again, that's ABG_everything. That's for 3 R's. You can check us there, man. We got great content coming up this week. We're going to talk about the Washington Commanders. We're going to talk about Jayden Daniels and his injury. We'll have a little bit, hopefully we have a little bit more update on Thursday where he stands. But we love the interaction. Love you fans. If you're not subscribed to the channel, go over here, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell notification. While you're on this channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button and the bell notification as well. And make sure you support. I mean, we're all Burgundy Gold fans. We're Commanders fans talking about, Commander things.
Absolutely. G, what else you got, man? I know they can find you there, but what else you got going on, man?
You can also, if you like VCU basketball, Rams Rewind. We've been doing off-season episodes. We just got the non-conference schedule. We got more episodes planned because college basketball is just around the corner. It's mid-September. They're going to start practicing in about 3 weeks, and the new season's about 6 weeks away. So if you like VCU basketball and you want to hear me talk about that with a little women's basketball thrown in here and there, Rams Rewind on all your fine podcast platforms. You will find me there talking that, and then post-game recaps when the season starts.
Absolutely. And of course, everybody, make sure you
like and subscribe, please.
Yes, indeed. Of course, you are here watching the Breaking Command podcast on the D Will Does It All YouTube channel. You'll see me later on this week with the line change with Mike Callow on ESPN 630. And you can hear it live on the internet on sportscapitaldc.com. Also Friday with my partner in crime, Mr. Real Robinson, for the afternoon kick, where we will get it in and get you going for the weekend as Commanders take on the Las Vegas. I was going to say Los Angeles. That's crazy. They've literally played everywhere.
And they're
Oakland, Los Angeles, Las Vegas,
right.
Mexico. It's like, nah. But of course, you can check out the afternoon kick this Friday with myself and Real Robinson. But for everybody here on the show, get your week started good, man. And appreciate you for tuning in. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, share. And we'll catch you on the next episode of the Breaking Command podcast. Everybody, be good. Peace. D Will does it all.